was the news in the last week of April that global manufacturers have initiated talks with Indian firms to explore the possibility of shifting a part of their supply chains from China. Now, companies from US, Japan and South Korea are also looking to shift their business focus in India. Most of these multinationals have suffered widespread disruptions to their business because of the strict lockdown measures to contain the pandemic which originated in China. Wuhan is one of China's motor cities which has several automotive factories. So, the companies in this region are interested in getting automobile components and electric products from India. The Indian government still has to announce new measures to attract firms that are planning to move operations from China. Earlier this month, Japan announced $2.2 billion to help its companies shift production out of China following the coronavirus pandemic. Indian companies who relied on China for sourcing components also are looking to other companies in India for their business needs, and this may reduce imports gradually because Indian companies have also suffered a lot by the novel coronavirus induced disruption in China. Most auto firms import parts like fuel injection system for the latest engines and other electronic parts from China. In March, India's cabinet announced a production-linked incentive, that is the PLI scheme, for the electronic sector with an outlay of over 40,000 crore rupees. India exports electronic products worth $9 billion each year, while its domestic market is estimated at $120 billion. Among global firms that have shown interests in India are US-based makers of medical electronics products Teledyne and Amphenol, and medical equipment makers such as Johnson & Johnson. The US-China trade wars and the ongoing COVID-19 crisis are driving global manufacturing companies out of China. Because of this, now India has a wonderful window of opportunity to emerge as a global manufacturing hub. India has the world's youngest workforce and a good domestic market, and it is demographically well positioned. The US-China trade wars have led to a decline in China's manufacturing exports to the US. In 2018, China had a 65% of US imports from Asian LCCs. By the fourth quarter of 2019, China's share had dropped to 56%. It is a significant drop within 1 year. Of the $31 billion that shifted from China to other Asian LCCs in 2019, almost half, that is 46%, was absorbed by Vietnam, one-fourth, that is 27%, was absorbed by Malaysia, and only 10% moved to India. The COVID-19 crisis could further accelerate manufacturing's shift from China. India has a unique opportunity to win this new wave of global rebalancing. Across a range of advanced industries like electronics, specialty chemicals, etc., and labor-intensive industries like apparel, footwear, gems and jewelry, woodwork and furniture, etc., India is the only destination that can offer a China-scale labor force and a China-scale domestic market. However, the availability of a young population is only one of the several factors required to emerge as a global manufacturing hub, and also India being a possible hub for exports in the region. That is the reason FDI has been recording very impressive growth in the last 5 to 6 years. We are moving to a new era of international economic relations where current ideas of trade and investment liberalization will have to be changed. India has to be well prepared to derive the maximum benefit it can from the dynamics of the emerging global economic order. Prime Minister Narendra Modi has asked state chief ministers to explore the possibility of attracting investments from companies that are exiting from China, and that they should have ready strategies to welcome industries on a state level. The government also wants to get more investment into India, with ministries such as road transport, highways and MSMEs eager to fast-track permissions to companies wanting to shift their operations from China to India. Now, the bigger question is, will India be able to attract a bulk of those companies looking to switch their production out of China? The centre has set up a committee of joint secretaries from different ministries and departments to see how to attract foreign investments now. The Chief Minister of Uttar Pradesh, Yogi Adityanath, recently had a video conference with a number of American companies. The UP government is working on a package to attract them. Same way, the Tamil Nadu Chief Minister also set up a special investment promotion task force headed by the Chief Secretary to attract investments from multinationals looking to move out of China. In particular, it is trying to get companies from Japan, Korea, Taiwan, Singapore and the US. The task force will have representatives from trade bodies of these countries. The government will provide special incentive package and fast-track clearances to industries looking to relocate. We should note that the states have to think differently to attract these companies. They have to work on establishing self-contained industrial cities that has space for manufacturing, commercial, educational, residential and social infrastructure. Common effluent treatment plants must be provided and clearances must be single window and fast-tracked. All these will attract the global companies soon. There should be space for expats who work in the companies to enjoy their evenings or weekends without any restrictions. There is only so much the centre can do, and it is up to the states to act brilliantly on elements like land acquisitions, labour laws and providing social and other infrastructure. When industry wants reforms in labour laws, it should be given a way to strictly enforce discipline within the factory premises and demand higher productivity. Many countries in the Southeast and East Asian region have higher productivity than in India because their work environment is different. Now let's see what needs to be done when the global companies start depending on India for their supplies. Laws right now are built on the premise that businesses are out to cheat and earn money. To start a factory in a SIPCOT estate, more than 25 statutory bodies have to give approvals. SIPCOT is a Tamil Nadu government undertaking that develops industrial estates. Assuming an entrepreneur has identified the location for a plant, building the factory to starting production will take a minimum of 12 months. It will take 3 to 4 months for clearances if the company has all the documents ready. Construction on the plant will take at least 5 months, and getting power connection is the most difficult to get done, and it is time consuming and expensive. In a major push to domestic manufacturing, in September last year, the centre had slashed corporate tax to 25.17%. For new manufacturers, the applicable tax was brought down to 17%, making it the lowest in Southeast Asia. Together with reduced tax rate and the rollout of GST, India hopes to attract sizable foreign investment in the manufacturing sector. The shift of economic focus of US from China to India appears to be early signs of possible changes in geopolitics. Now, the world is rethinking its strategy to putting all its eggs in one basket. While government is making all attempts to hard sell India as a manufacturing hub, it may find it an uphill task given that the production cost difference between India and Southeast Asian countries is about 10 to 12%. For example, there is a huge market in India for mobile phones that cost less than $100. For mobiles costing $200 or more, there is huge potential of export. So, from the 10 to 12% cost difference between India and Southeast Asia, almost 6 to 7% is adjusted by India's market itself. For the remaining 5 to 6%, a combination of state incentives and central incentives are there. Over the years, China has emerged as a manufacturing powerhouse. But now, there is a clear negative sentiment against China. If we play our cards right, we could double our exports in 3 years' time. But government guidelines on threshold investment levels in electronic component manufacturing and few other sectors are tedious. A clear strategy for specific sectors or corridors, focused investments in competitiveness enablers, smart market promotion and disciplined execution are now needed to fully capitalize on this opportunity. Streamlining India's logistics networks, investing in infrastructure, revamping vocational education, facilitating manufacturing clusters, accelerating technology adoption, encouraging R&D and innovation and helping MSME scale are all the elements that can help India succeed. This is all from me in this episode. Do let me know in the comments about what do you think about the steps that have been taken by the state governments to attract these global opportunities, and also let us know if you have any other idea on how such an opportunity should be approached by the Indian government and business people. Thank you for the support. This is Nisha PS.